Start with my eyebrows, and I usually film this off camera because it takes me such a long time, but it's a get ready with me, and I haven't used this product in a long time. It's the Dip Brow by Anastasia. So I'm using the color medium brown, and I hate using a brand new pot of Dip Brow because it's so slippery. I like it to be a little bit dry just because it's easier to apply. So I'm taking, this is the Anastasia, it like rubbed off, but it was the 18 brush, I believe. And I took a little bit of the product, and I remember I liked to pinch the brush with the product on because it makes it a little bit slimmer. I've had this brush for a while, so every time I wash it, the bristles kind of like spread out. So by doing that, like pinching it, it's just gonna make it a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start. Oh, this feels so weird. I feel like I'm gonna take so long, but we'll see. So I just went ahead and drew a line underneath my brow, and I'm just feathering the product upwards to make it look a little bit natural. I finished my brows, and that took way longer than I thought it was gonna take. I think it's just the fact that I didn't have like the proper brush, and the product was too wet for my liking. So honestly, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it open for a few hours, just so that I can get a little bit more like tacky. I purchased the Jackie Aina eyeshadow palette. It just like stands out and looks different from the other ones. I feel like all the other ones look the same, and they all have like the same colors in them. A lot of them have like orange soda, burnt orange, like all the same colors, and these are just, they stand out. They look really nice. So first I'm gonna prime my eyelids, and I like to do that with concealers. First color I'm gonna take is Ginger, and I'm gonna apply this into my crease. I think I know like what type of look I'm going for. Very like holiday party vibes. I feel like this look is gonna come out really cute, and I'm literally gonna go to the dentist and work. So for my lid, I want to take this color called shoot, I don't watch Jackie's videos. I feel like maybe this is like something she says. Wigglies. Wigglies. I don't know, but it's really pretty, like burgundy shimmery color. I'm gonna take this on my finger. Anytime I apply an eyeshadow to my eyelids, I think it looks best, I feel like it looks best when I apply it with my fingers. So I'm gonna take an eyeshadow and then just start. Ooh, that is so pretty. With my nails, it's a little difficult to get into like the inner corners. I think I'm gonna do a different color in here, but like even right there, I feel like I need more of the red. I'm gonna take a brush and fix those areas, but for the most part, for like the larger area in my lid, I just like using my finger. Alright, so I applied the shadow to the lid. I know it looks messy, but I just feel like I get the most color payoff if I apply the lid color with my finger. But obviously my nails don't allow me to get into like the inner corners and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. I'm gonna take a brush, and for this part, I'm actually gonna spray my brush with a little bit of the Morphe setting spray. Edges and fix up these edges. Literally, I'm just gonna go around the lid shade and and make sure it's completely blended. Alright guys, so I basically like really took that eyeshadow all over my eyelid. I think it looks really nice. I'm gonna take this really small pointed brush and spray it with the setting spray, and I'm gonna take the color, I'm just gonna take this one, it's called Zam, and apply this into the inner corners of my eyes. This looks kind of like a glitter. Okay. And brought it in towards the lid, and then I'm just kind of blending the lid color I previously had with Zam. So now that I added that inner corner highlight, I'm gonna add a brow bone highlight. I'm gonna take Soleil with this flat brush, and I'm not gonna spray my brush. I'm just gonna apply this right here. I think I want to deepen up the outer corners, so I'm going to take Credit and just apply that to the outer corners of my eyes. Well done with eyeshadow, and I also went ahead and applied some lashes. I applied the Salon Perfect 663 lash. I go ahead and prep my skin. For the winter time, my skin gets extremely dry and tight, and it affects the way my foundation looks. So I really have to prep my skin before foundation. So I'm gonna start off with moisturizer. This is the e.l.f. Daily Hydration I don't want to say foundation, moisturizer, and this moisturizer is perfect for applying before makeup, because I wouldn't normally use this as like my daily moisturizer. I don't think it has any like real benefits towards my skin. I wouldn't use this moisturizer for like my daily moisturizer or like my nighttime moisturizer. This is just strictly for me right before foundation. It feels almost like a primer. When it dries down, it feels a little tacky. So I really like that for foundation. So I'm just gonna apply, I got 2 pumps. I'm just gonna apply it all over my skin. I'm not gonna apply it to my forehead because I thought I was filming earlier. I literally already did all this. I applied my foundation, everything, and then I realized that I wasn't filming. So I just took off this portion of my makeup. I didn't finish applying like the foundation on the sides, but I have like foundation in the center of my forehead. So I'm just gonna leave that. So there, I feel like as soon as I apply it, it like sinks into my skin and just leaves this like a little bit of tackiness, which I like. So now for extra hydration, I'm gonna take this hydrating face mist, this rose water hydrating mist, and I purchased this at Marshall's, really cheap. I'm gonna say it was like $4. So I'm just gonna go in, apply a couple sprays, and just dry my face off. And the other day my skin was just so dry that I actually repeated both of those steps. I went in with another pump of the moisturizer and then a couple more sprays of the mist, and then I finally felt like my skin was fully moisturized. But for right now, my skin feels pretty good. Now I'm gonna go in with primer, which is also something that I normally don't apply because I don't feel like my skin normally needs it, and I'm not gonna apply, you know, an extra product if I don't feel like I need it or it's not necessary. So, but for right now I do feel like it is. So I'm gonna use this Fenty Beauty Primer, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been using it too much, so I don't really know if I really like it. but when it hasn't affected my foundation, which is something that I struggle with when I apply primers, which is why I don't like them. I feel like it just like slides my makeup. It hasn't been doing that. It feels really moisturizing and hasn't really been budging with my, or like messing with my foundation. So for right now, I do like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the primer, and I'm gonna focus the primer in the areas where I'm extra dry, which is like around my nose. This area is just so dry, like cracks around my nose, and it just looks really bad with foundation. So I'm just gonna really focus it there. I'm not just saying that because I have foundation on my skin. I literally only apply primer like right here, then whatever's left over I'll just like pat it around my skin, and I do just take the extra primer and just apply it to the center of my forehead, but mainly here. And now I'm gonna go in with foundation, and I've been using a different foundation. This is the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Velvety Matte Foundation, and even though it's matte, I feel like I can pull it off with dry skin just because of all of the steps that I took beforehand. The foundation ends up looking really nice. So I'm gonna take just a little bit of this. The first time I tried this, I took like a huge chunk of it and it did not look cute. Like, you do not need a lot of this foundation. So I'm gonna start off with just, that should be good for right now, and just gonna like spread it out on the back of my hand and start applying this with a beauty blender. The color I'm using, by the way, is Alexandria 650, and I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit too light. It low-key is exactly the same color as my neck, but I usually like wearing a little bit darker of a foundation just so I don't feel so pale. But I'll just fix it with a bunch of bronzer right now. So here's the foundation. I feel like you can really tell that it's super full coverage. At least I can. The Milani is pretty full coverage, which is the one that I usually use. I don't know, maybe just because you need like the smallest amount of this. So whenever I finish my foundation, I always take the residue of that's on the back of my beauty blender, and I just start applying this right here in between my eyebrows, just to create like a fade between my brows. And then at the end, I'll just fix the shape of it, but yeah. Now I'm gonna go in with contour, and I've been really loving the LA Pro Concealer. I used to use this, and then I stopped and I was using the Kat Von D one, but this is just so much more easier. I just feel like it, I don't know, it's super quick, you'll see. And I'm gonna use this stippling brush. So just also with this, use a little bit. I know this girl that I work with, shout out to you, Marissa, if you're watching. She told me that she purchased this because she saw me using it in one of my videos. But she like went in hard with like the product, and you really don't need much because it's super pigmented. So I'm just gonna draw, I don't know if you can tell, like I really don't have much of the product in, and then you have to work with it super fast because it dries really fast. So I just blend it out really quick, and I like to apply before my concealer, because especially if I'm using cream contour, a lot of the times the product just goes a little bit too high up, and the concealer just fixes that problem. So that's why I like to do this first. And also, if you have dry skin, just try to stick to like cream products. It's gonna look a little bit more natural, and your skin's gonna look a little bit more lively rather than if you use a powder. Brush and apply it to my forehead, temples, just to add some color and flavor. So I'm gonna go in with concealer, but I don't have a concealer that I'm obsessed with. Usually my favorite is the Tarte Shape Tape, but right now this isn't just like haven't had the funds to get another one. So I literally am just gonna be mixing these two concealers. I don't really like either of them to use by themselves. This is the Born This Way concealer. It's super watery and not as full coverage as I like them to be, or that I like concealers to be. And then this is the e.l.f. Camo concealer, and this one's like, I don't know, like thick, and you'd think it's super full coverage, but it's not. But if you apply too much, it looks bad. I don't know, like I like it, but I'm not convinced. And then this one is just way too sheer. So I'm just gonna use a combination of both, and that has been working for me, but I don't want you guys to like go and buy both, you know what I'm saying? And then to set the concealer and my face a little bit, I'm gonna use the Seal the Deal from Lawless using my beauty blender. So there's that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply bronzer, and I actually repurchased, ooh, she's dirty. I just bought her. The Marc Jacobs Fantastic in Omega Bronze. This bronzer is so good. Look how huge this is next to my face, and I finished this. It took a while because there's so much product in here. It took me like 2 years to finish it, but I recommend this bronzer. If you guys are looking for a really good bronzer, this is the way to go. It's pretty pricey. I think it's like around $50 or $60, but it lasted 2 years, so I feel like it's worth it. You know, I'm not gonna have to buy another bronzer for 2 years. So I'm just gonna apply this on my forehead and just like all around my face. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of eyeshadow and apply it to my lower lash line. I'm gonna start off with Ginger, which is the first crease color I used in my eyeshadow. So for blush, I'm gonna use this Bellisimo Bronze 06 Baked Powder Blush from Milani. I've never tried Luminoso. I wanted to buy Luminoso the time I purchased this, and they didn't have it, so I just bought this one. And it's cute, but I don't know, everyone's so obsessed with the other one. This one's cute too. I think I went too cute with it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and set my face with the Morphe setting spray. So for lips, I'm gonna do sort of like a peachy brown nude color. I'm gonna start with the Morphe lip liner in Foolish. Went ahead and did sort of like a thick line of lip liner and overline my lips a little bit. And then to fill in my lips, I'm gonna use this So Juicy gloss in the color She's Here, and it's a pretty sheer gloss with like a hint of like a shimmery nude. All done with the makeup look. I really like how it looked. I'm really into that palette, and again, if you guys have super dry skin, really try those products out that I mentioned. I feel like without those, my foundation would not look as good as it does. And yeah, I'm ready for the dentist. All right, you guys, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up and let me know what other videos you guys want to see, and I'll see you guys in my next video.